This is how to dial in a Chet Atkins echo sound using the Strymon Capistan. For those of you who really want to take a deeper dive and understand the foundational concepts that will enable you to be creative with this stuff using any gear, you might consider checking out my 3-part series. But specifically for the Chet Atkins Echo, and specifically using the Strymon Capistan, this is really all you need to know. Within the Capistan, you essentially have 3 echo units, and you can toggle between them using the tape head switch. Once you have that unit selected, then there's another toggle switch that says mode. I'm going to show you up close in just a second. Here's what you're not going to use. 95% of this pedal. What interests me more than anything is put the gear down. Learn to use these. You're not going to use the tap tempo. You're only going to use one mode, one model, and a very simple basic echo time. On the tape head, you want the switch all the way up on the fixed position. Not down, not in the middle, all the way up on fixed. On the mode, you want that right there in the middle, not up, not down. Mode B in the middle. And then you want your time knob turned fully counterclockwise all the way down. It'll default to 150 milliseconds of delay, which is perfect for a Chet-style slapback echo. And from there, you adjust your repeats knob to about 2, 3 is probably too many. And then your mix knob, adjust it to the balance that you want between the dry note and the repeated notes. When you set things there, you'll get an echo that sounds like this. Like I've mentioned in other videos, part of getting the sound out of it is also you got to think about the attack of the notes. So like with the old Chet thing, you hear the slapback so wonderfully because of his touch on the guitar. Short notes, slightly muted notes, you'll hear the echo cleaner than if you have a long sustained note. You don't want that. The sound should be palm muted in the bass, with focus on the articulation and note length in the melody. Great bass players, I think, have to inherently know this because it has so much to do with groove. Well, it's the same way on guitar. Note length, touch, groove. You want to be grooving with the echo. So I would encourage you to approach any piece of gear as a tool more than as an instrument itself. But the gear itself has nothing to do with getting a good sound. Good sound, right here. If you'd like to fine-tune things, of course, obviously, you have knobs for it on the front of the unit. Anyone can see that. Tape age can be adjusted, and wow and flutter. As an owner of one of the last echo units that Mike Battle designed, when they're right, they're pretty clean, and they sound really great. I don't like to use a lot of wow and flutter. I don't like to put the tape age way over and make it sound like a crappy 25-year-old tape. But I keep everything dialed back on the Capistan. Then you can access the secondary functions, pressing down both these foot switches at the same time. Once you've entered the secondary functions, the time knob controls the amount of spring reverb, so you can add some spring reverb to the unit, which is a nice sound. Just turn it up to taste. The tape age becomes a control for low-end contour. The factory default would be at 50-50, with it right there in the middle. The repeats knob becomes an adjustment for tape bias, so you can mess around with changing the bias of the tape, making it sound better, making it sound worse. The wow and flutter knob turns into an adjustment for tape crinkle. If you've ever changed the tape on one of those tape echo units, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sometimes they get crinkly, tapes get damaged. I don't want to emulate something that was damaged. So I go ahead and try to make things sound fairly clean even though it's a tape sounding pedal. But you do have the possibility to really fine-tune things in here. And the mix knob simply turns into a control for boost or cut, as in the volume. Do you want to boost or do you want to cut when you engage the effect? So those are the secondary functions. I hope that helps you out. Thank you for watching, and the video vault is open over on fretboardplayground.com. I'll see you again the next time.